Hi, yes, it's just me again, going on about this health response bill, but I really want to get this message across. I want to dissect this bill, and I want to really get people thinking about it and what it means. What does this mean for New Zealand, and why is this bill, which gives so much power, so much complete control to the government, why is it necessary? Now, I know people think it's to do with COVID um, in an effort to keep people safe from COVID, but honestly, 99% of people recover from it. It's the elderly who who have passed away. We've had one person in his 50s now, late 50s, pass away, but we're not told what the underlying conditions were. So, um, really, there's very few cases. It's not really, I believe, as big a deal as we're told. Therefore, why the need for all these bills to come in? So look, let's just go through it, and I just wanted to talk you through it. So these are the orders that can be made under the bill, and I will put a link in the comments so that you can look at it for yourself, see that I am telling the truth, and and just look at it for yourself. And I think most people realise that the Health Response Bill has given the government the power to come into your home without a warrant. That's police, army, or somebody who's been a specified person can come into your home or marae without a warrant. So they can just enter. You've got no rights anymore over your home, over your private property. And these are the orders that they're likely going to be carrying out when they come into your home without a warrant. Okay, so the first one is they can make an order for you to stay in any specified place or refrain from going to any specified place. So they can completely control where you go and where you don't go. So if they want you to, everybody to live in a high-rise buildings in Auckland and never go to the park or the countryside, then they can do that if they choose, because the wording of this bill is so ambiguous, it's so non-specific that they can tell you to do what they like. Any specified place, or refrain from going to any specified place. Refrain from associating with specified persons. So they specify who you can't associate with. They decide. Okay. The third one, is stay physically distant from any persons in any specified way. What if the person that they want you to be physically distant from is a member of your family? What if it's one of your children? And they can not only any specified person, but in any specified way. What does that even mean? Any specified way? Well, that means they can do whatever they like to prevent you from associating with that person that they decide that you shouldn't be associating with. Refrain from travelling to or from any specified area. They will completely control all of your movements. Now, I was one of those people that had to travel from Waikato to Auckland, where I live in Waikato and work in Auckland as an essential worker, and had to go through the roadblocks and show my ID to be, for them to decide if I was allowed to pass through or not. And I tell you what, I really didn't like it. It felt like I was in a communist country. It felt like I was going to a border. I had to ask permission to enter the city and permission to leave it again. It was, I mean, and remember that was when we had 4 cases, so 1.6 million people, all locked down for 4 cases. Incredibly controlling. The next one is refrain from carrying out specified activities, for example, business activities, or require specified activities to be carried out in any specified way or in compliance with specified measures. So that does mean that the government's controlling the businesses. It controls how they run. It's most likely telling them, even now, that for them to be open, they have to comply to certain measures. And when I go into the supermarkets now, some of them are worse than others. But I know I went into Pack and Save today, and I had a camera in my face. It was set up at the door, covering everybody that came in. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of the supermarkets now have the face recognition software. So this is, to me, is a huge violation of my privacy. And I know that it's been in the news recently that the police are also trialling face recognition software. So, this is getting more and more like communist China, where you have to be identified wherever you go. You're completely controlled, and well, even what you think and believe is controlled over there. And this seems to be where this is going. Okay, so what do we have next is be isolated or quarantined in any specified place or in any specified way. Okay, this is a particularly concerning one, to be isolated or quarantined in any specified place or in any specified way. Well, isolated or quarantined, you're pretty much being locked up. You're being detained, and you could be sent to any place, a detention centre, and to be isolated and quarantined any specified way. Any specified way. Wherever and whenever they want. God help us. All right, the next one. Refrain from participating in gatherings of any specified kind or in any specified place or in specified circumstances. I would guess this is likely partly to be aimed at the churches. Now, you've got to be aware that in communist countries, that it's illegal to be a Christian. You can't, I don't think you can believe in any God, actually. In communist countries, you pretty much have to worship the leader and their way of life and their rules. And it sounds like this is where this is going, that you can't gather together if they say that you can't. You can't gather in a certain place if they say that you can't. And this could apply to lots of different things. It could be a club, anywhere that people gather together. And I think that a lot of the reason why they don't want particularly churches, but also any gathering that has an influential leader, because they will tell you something different to what the government narrative is. I mean, you've heard old Jacinda. She's trying to say, only listen to us and don't listen to conspiracy theorists because they think, differently to what we're saying. And, that's so uncontrolling and communistic to say something like that. Instead of saying something like, hear what we've got to say, but go and do your own research so you can see that it's backed up. No, they're saying, don't listen to anyone else. Anyone else say something different to us is a conspiracy theorist. Right, okay. Now this one here I also find very concerning. Report for a medical examination or testing in any specified way or any specified circumstances. So they make the circumstance, they decide the way and the circumstance. And for me, this is, again, a violation, I believe, of my rights. Under the Bill of Rights Act, we have the right to refuse a medical, any medical procedure under the Bill of Rights Act. Now, I have heard that there's a bill in the pipeline that is going to alter the Bill of Rights. Now, we need to keep an eye on this, because if they change that and take that out, then they can do whatever they like. They can force you to undergo a medical procedure. They can force you to be tested. They can shove that stick down your nose and your kids' noses and anybody that they want to, and I don't consent to that. I will not consent to being tested. It is absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, a violation of my my rights and my liberties to say no to a medical procedure. If I was sick, I would isolate myself. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. You don't need to go for a test. Just isolate yourself. I don't personally think that that's even necessary, but because of the climate of fear that there is in our country, I would isolate myself till I was better, and then just go back to normal. I mean, let's just be sensible, about all this. But this forced testing, wow. Is this the New Zealand that you know? Is this the New Zealand that you want? Because don't think it's going to go away. And if you vote this government back in, I'll tell you what. I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. This New Zealand will not be an easy place to live in, and the next generation will not even know what it is like to be free. I know that people are just hoping this is all going to go away, that COVID is going to go away. Please remember, out of your own mouth, Jacinda said, this is the new normal. Get used to it. As long as this government is in power, this will not go away. There is a worldwide power grab going on at the moment. In some countries, there are some countries who are resisting it, and there are some who are aligned with the UN, United Nations, and they have an agenda, 2021 agenda, and Jacinda, out of her own mouth, has said, made a commitment that New Zealand will lead the way, will lead the world into the 2020 agenda. She is on record saying that. It can't be denied. So that is her plan for us. When did she discuss it with us? When did she talk to us about what that might mean for an individual New Zealander and what our values are and our sovereignty? Now, come on. Okay, there's the next one. Yep, there's more. Require things to be closed or only open if specified measures are complied with. Require things to be closed or open only if specified measures are complied with. What are things? We've already talked about businesses. So what are things? Things is a really general term. It's very, very general, and it can cover everything. So we're talking about schools, we're talking about churches, we're talking about clubs, we're talking about, I don't know, your lemonade stand. It's everything. It's things that maybe they haven't thought of that they'd like to control, but they can't really specify everything, so they'll just say things, and then that will cover everything. Okay, the next one is prohibit things from entering any port or place unless specified measures are complied with. So they are completely controlling imports. Okay, their specified measures, we don't know what they are. They just, whatever they specify. So complete control over imports. And here's another one. Prohibit gatherings of any specified kind in any specified place or premises or in any specified circumstances. Now, they have already covered prohibiting participating in gatherings, and now they're saying prohibit gatherings. So that's the first one sounded as though it was aimed at an individual. This is aimed at the gatherings as a whole. So prohibit gatherings of any specified kind. To me, this sounds like protests. You want to protest. You want to voice your right for free speech and to say what you think about the government and about what's going on. This has just prohibited it. You just had your freedom of speech shut down with this bill. And if this order gets put into place, they're wielding a huge amount of power with this. Okay, the next one is require things to be isolated, quarantined, or disinfected in any specified way or circumstances. Well, things, again, things. Is that your stuff? Can they come and take your stuff? Can they come into your house without their warrant and just say, I'm taking your stuff? Sounds like it. That's what it sounds like to me. They can do whatever they like with whatever they like. Okay, I think I have one more left here in this long list of autocratic orders that they can make. Require the testing of things in any specified way or circumstance. Again, very ambiguous. Require the testing of things. It's just, I know they've got something in mind when they have written this, but I don't personally know what that means. But maybe someone else has got some idea. But just, I don't want to go on too long, so I'm just going to finish it there. But really, I just asking people, please read this for yourself. Please think about what it means. Not just for you personally, for your family, for the next generation, for our country, for our sovereignty, for our way of life. What does this mean for us? We need to be knowledgeable about what's going on. Keep your eyes out for the bill that they're going to try and put through to change the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is very important for us to retain that, and as it is intact. So just keep your eyes out for that, and we need to be, protesting against that. We need to have our voices heard. And I tell you what, I think the most important thing that we need to do is to stand really strong in our own personal sovereignty. Our God-given freedom to choose how we live our lives, and not to take on the fear that all of all the stuff that comes in the media is all about fear. It's about if they've got people frightened, people will be very, very compliant, and they are. That is exactly what's happening. People are frightened and they're complying. They'll do whatever they're told because they're afraid that they're going to die, and that this plague is going to come and sweep through our country and wipe everybody out. And I think Jacinda herself has said that tens of thousands of people could die in our country. Oh my gosh. I mean, if you're someone who listens to the news and thinks that what the news says is true, this is terrifying. I mean, I think the reason that I know that the news is that they tell lies all the time is because I've heard what they've said about my church constantly, and I know it's all lies. I know it's rubbish, but people believe it because it's on the news, and people hate Destiny, and they hate Bishop because of what they've heard on the news. So the media is telling people what to think and what to believe. And I know I've said this before, but please think about where you're getting your source of information from. Turn the damn news off and start thinking for yourself, and look for alternative ideas, so at least you've got a chance to think, could something else other than what the media is telling me to believe is true, could something else possibly be true? And just get that critical thinking going. So thank you so much if you've listened this far. God bless you. Thank you so much. This has just burning in my heart at the moment. I just have to, I have to keep plugging away at this. But any feedback, yeah, please just add comments. I'm happy to receive any feedback or criticism or questions. And I'll put that link there. Please look into it for yourself. Okay, God bless. Love you.